Hi guys, how you doing? I hope you're all well. In this video I just wanted to talk to you briefly about how to explain your role to a client. This is actually something that one of my subscribers recommended, so yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jasmine. I'm a practicing social worker and I share my experiences, both social work and non-social work related, here on the channel. So yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and subscribe. If you have not seen my previous video, you might not be aware, but I'm currently accepting donations for a bit of a Christmas celebration for the children of Amentia High School in Ghana. If you're able to contribute any little bit, we will appreciate. I'll leave a link for the GoFundMe account in the description box below. Thank you in advance. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I thought this was really helpful. Would be really helpful, I mean, because yeah, the person was like, oh, this is not something that we were taught at uni, so it would be really helpful to get a bit of an understanding around it. And I thought about it, I was like, yeah, actually we never got taught that at uni. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna keep this really short. It doesn't really need to be long. So yeah, I think a couple of things to keep in mind when explaining your role to a client that you might be working with. The first thing is to make sure you keep it really simple. I think a lot of the time when we see clients, they're already overwhelmed. They've probably been referred to 20 different services. They're confused. They don't really know what's going on. They don't know who you are. They don't know what a social worker is. So make sure you just keep it simple. Sometimes they might not necessarily have much of an educational background as well. So simple, I think, is really important. What is your role? What is your role and how are you going to be supporting the client? And why are you there? So 4 things: simple, what is your role, why are you there, and how you're going to support the client. I think that those are the things that you need to keep in mind when you're explaining who you are and why you're there to a client that you might be working with. So I thought the best way to do this will be to give an example of how I do it. I'm currently an intake worker, so I work with vulnerable women that may currently be experiencing domestic violence or may have experienced domestic violence in the past. So yeah, I'm just going to read out how I generally explain my role to a client that I may have just met. So usually I'll say something along the lines of, hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm one of the intake workers here. Today I'm basically going to be conducting an assessment with you so we can identify your needs and find out what supports will be best for you. And then once we've identified that, we can refer you to the appropriate services. And if there's anything that we can do from our service, then we will obviously do that to support you. So I'm going to be asking you a number of questions. Some will be around, basic things like your address, your name, your date of birth, if you have any children, any diagnosis, things along those lines. And then later on, I'm going to be asking you questions around your finances, your housing, and what your current needs are today. So this is basically how I generally explain my role to the clients that I may have just met. As you can imagine, I see them, they're all new. The people that I see, most of the time they're new, so I have to go through this quite a bit. So usually, yeah, as you can see, I mentioned my name. I mentioned that I was one of the intake workers, so that clarifies that I'm not the only intake worker there. I told them what I'm going to be doing with them today, which was doing an assessment, and I gave a bit of a brief around like what kind of questions I'll be asking them as well, and I let them know that I might be referring them out for certain services, and there's other services that I will be providing to them as well. So that kind of summarizes everything that I have the capacity to do for that client. And if someone asks them who I am, they can easily say, oh, she had to ask me a couple of questions and she said she was going to help me. And even though that's really basic, that kind of summarizes what my role is. So the 4 things that I mentioned are what you should keep in mind if you're a new social worker and you're trying to basically support, explain to clients what your role is. I think bearing those questions that I mentioned earlier on in mind will definitely be a big help. Anyways, that is pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed and you've watched the video to the end, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe, show some love. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I shall see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.